I was teaching school in now I forget the name of the place. But anyway, when I went to my boarding house and told the lady, the widow Ryan, she sat down and cried. And but remember, but the days. Well, that's a long time ago. I don't remember. I can't remember anything. That's the only thing I can about the only thing I can remember about that day.
How did you find out?
Well, the district that I was teaching in was about 10 or 12 miles from Maitland, and but they didn't get their mail that way. They got it from Shubenacadie through the Kenneth Cook corner, and that's the way we heard. The mail carrier brought word from Shubenacadie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shubenacadie, it was on the line between Halifax and Truro, 2 stations from Elmsdale.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, well.
Was that in 1902?
I thought it would be 1901.
Oh. What time of year?
Well, I think it was around January. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I never had to remember it, and never wrote it down.
No. It's in the history books, anyway. It's in the history books. How did you happen to come out to Alberta? How did you happen to leave Nova Scotia?
Well, in the fall of the year, they had what they call a excursion rate, harvest rate, and you come out west for $10, but if you want to go back, you had to pay $18. Well, I came out the year I finished teaching, and that was in June. In September, I came out on one of those. But
how old were you? How old were you?
About 18. Yeah. And yes. Well, worked.
In Manitoba?
No, in Alberta, in the southern part of Alberta.
And then you went out to British Columbia that winter?
No.
Oh, you went back?
I went back. I went to college in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. And in the spring, they sent me up north of Edmonton to a rural missionary work. And when I came back, when I came down in the fall, my sister, older sister Mary, had come out to teach school at it's a town west of Winnipeg. Should get that. And
was it Souris? Was it Portage La Prairie or Souris or Rivers? Any of those places? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter anyway.
No.
So, in the fall, what did you do after you finished the missionary on the mission field? Was that Vermilion?
I think that's when I came to BC.
Oh,
I drifted west, couldn't get a job any place, and so I landed up in the lumber woods
on the Arrow Lake.
In the southeastern part of British Columbia. And I stayed there all that winter. And in the spring, the surveyor came to survey the limits, and I was put on the team. I got so that I could run the rod up and down. I forget the name. But anyway, the boss, I forget what they called them. He was on the. They had their Timmets were up and down the Arrow Lakes.
This was for the lumber. This was for their license, was it?
For their logs, they put the logs in the lake and then pull them up to the cusp where there's.
Oh, I see.
Or I forget the other name of the place where the mills were.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But this.
So you were on a survey team for 6 months?
No, just 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months.
Yes. Then they went to survey for another party, but that party was providing their own crew, and so I didn't get a job with them. I bummed around that summer. I finally landed up at a place called Wesley at the end of Arrow Lakes, driving team. So
that was still in a lumber camp?
No, it was a sawmill.
A sawmill, oh.
At the sawmill, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just had jobs around the lumber yard,
Mm-hmm.
the hauling slabs for firewood for the different cottages and so on.
Mm-hmm. Where did you meet Frank Wingate and George Fraser?
Oh, I knew them. I knew them before that. I met them in Arrowhead. We worked in the same sawmill in Arrowhead. Yes. Yes. There's and
So Well, that would have been a year before, would it?
Yeah.
A year before. Was it the year before that you decided to file for a homestead?
Well, I worked in the sawmill all that summer. I was a tallyman. I kept track of the amount of lumber it was sawed each day, and reported it into the office at night, and yeah, it was at that sawmill that I met Frank Wingate and George Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
They worked there too. George Fraser was the blacksmith
I see.
at that. Wingate. Wingate. He. There was a long carrier went way out from the mill, endless chain with the
Conveyor.
conveyor. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And all the slabs went past there. The job to stand beside by that and pick out any slabs that are fit for making glass, and put them to one side, and they were picked up and shoveled back, hauled back into the mill to make it.
Well, when did you decide to file for the homestead?
Well, that summer I worked in that sawmill, and there was a friend, there was a man I used to know back in Nova Scotia. I forget his name now. Doesn't matter anyway. But he was getting married to a girl from Prince Edward Island that I knew, and he wanted me to hit his best of man, and their wedding was to take place at the that's in one of those valleys in BC, the valley adjacent to the valley where the sawmill was that I worked in.
Near Grand Forks?
No, it wasn't.
West? West?
North, no, up the lake.
Okanagan? Or
Okanagan Lakes.
yes.
Yeah. And anyway, yes. This man wanted me to go over to the Summer Valley, Summer, I forget what they called it, and be his best of man. Well, I told the boss I wanted to go, and he said, he shook his head. He didn't want to have anybody else doing this job but me. Well, when it came to for the train time, I just gathered up and went.
Good for you.
And
So you went to the wedding, and then you were out of a job.
yeah.
So then where did you go? Back to Alberta?
No,
Or back to...
I hadn't been to Alberta yet.
Oh, well, I'm trying to find out, how did you get back to Alberta to file for your homestead?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it was after that, when I went back, after I had had skipped out. I got fired, and then I went to Alberta. A lot of the chaps in the sawmill gave me the authorization papers to file on homesteads for them. That's where George Fraser came in, and Frank Wingate, and Wallace Stevenson, and
was it Jimmy Fraser or Marner Smith?
There was a Mariner Smith, yes. Well, he was one of the boys that I put on the homestead from that sawmill closed down in the fall, and he was out of a job, and so he came and I had sit and built a shack on the what we call the Smith Quarter. After that,
now you went back to Alberta, and you filed claims for 5 homesteads. And then what did you do? That was in the summer? That was in the fall of 1903.
Yeah, that was in the fall, yes. Well, I guess we stayed on the homestead through the winter. And
what did you live in? What did you live in?
Oh, well, we built a log shack just as soon as we took up the...
I see.
Just as soon as we went there, yes.
That's the little shack that we remember?
I guess so. Yeah.
East of the spring.
Yes, yes, that's it. Yeah. We had no horse. We had a little pony. I forget what they call it.
Mike.
Mike, yes. And
you had Mike after you were married.
I guess so. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, but Mike hauled the logs up for the shack. And one day I left his lead rope on the ground and went to turn to do something. Mike ran away. And he went away down the valley, down by Rathwell's and so on. But finally, he was corralled in a corral on top of a hill there. I got him the next day. Took him back to work. Yeah.
Do you remember anything else about that winter and all your bachelor friends?
Well, you see, there's Frank Wingate, and Wallace Stevenson, and Jimmy Fraser. He wasn't any relation. He was from Nova Scotia. He wasn't any relation to the George Fraser that we knew. No, that Fraser George came from Scotland.
Did any of you live together?
Yes.
Who?
Yes, I think there was 8 of us in the one shack. There was a wide bed, and 4 slept in the bed.
Must have been warm.
Lying crossways. And
who did the cooking?
Each one I guess, took the turn. Smith, I guess, was the best at the best cook.
What did you eat?
We got a quarter of beef from Mr. Lockhart.
Oh, yeah.
5 cents a pound. And it was a big one, 125 pounds or something.
Where did you get your groceries?
At Bentley. Yes.
There was a store in Bentley in 1903?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Bentley, also a store in Bentley. There was a store in Rimby. Rimby was a little closer, but there was no road to Rimby. It was woods all the way, and it was 2 or 3 years before we had a road to Rimby. But we had this road to Bentley. We used to ride to Bentley. One of us, once a week, would ride to Bentley to get the mail.
You'd ride Mike?
Ride Mike, yes, yes.
Was there a bridge across the Blind Man?
Yes, yes. Right, straight west of Bentley there was, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
So after that winter, you went back to the lumber mill. You went back to BC.
And you see, they used to go back to BC every spring, the boys that were working on their homesteads. But then they had to put in 6 months a year for 3 years to get the patent for their homestead. And then 6 months they went back to BC, worked in the sawmill. Yeah. But 1907, they built the Benjamin School. There was a school at Lockhart.
Did you teach at Lockhart before 1908?
Yes, yes.
You did?
Yes. Just for 4 months. Oh. What year did I say I homesteaded? 1905? Well, the next year I taught it at Lockhart for 6 months. Yeah.
Aunt Mary taught at Lockhart too, didn't she?
Yeah.
Before or after?
Oh, after.
After.
Late, yes. Yes, it was Nan and I that brought Mary out got her to school.
I see.
And so she had the school before she left Nova Scotia.
Oh. What was the first school that you taught in Alberta?
Oh, I guess it was the Lockhart School, yes.
The Lockhart School. Must have taught the Lockhart School then before Benjamin.
Oh, yes. Benjamin wasn't built then.
Yeah, well, you were not the first teacher in the Benjamin School then, were you?
No, I think I was still teaching it at Lockhart, and I didn't want to resign that from there, and they got a young fellow from Manitoba to teach the school. first teacher. Yeah. Yeah, and I think he had a BA degree.
Is that right?
Yeah. But he didn't stay long. No.
Now, when did you go down to the Estonia school? You remember? Oh, it was when Jim and Bob were small.
Estonian school. Oh, yes. Well, I know I was teaching there in 1914 because I was there when the war broke out.
In Estonia? In the Estonia district?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I couldn't remember that name, Estonia. No. I've tried to remember it for several years, but it didn't come to my mind. Estonia. Yes.
Okay. You didn't teach... Oh, I know. You taught at the Gull Lake School before that. You must have taught there in 1911. Or 12.
Yeah.
1912?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yes. Gull Lake. Oh, yes, I taught at Gull Lake School. It was away about a mile south of the lake. Schoolhouse was up on the hill. Yes, I taught there.
I remember Mother telling about the little house that you lived on, and it was so cold. The wind used to blow across the lake and right through the house, she said.
Yes. In my other room, I had a picture of that. Well, not of that house, but just one just like it.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you didn't teach for a while. When I remember you going back to teaching, it must have been about 1929.
Yeah. 29. Yeah, 29. Yes.
And
Yes, I quit teaching about 20.
where were you teaching when you stopped that time?
Benjamin, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Benjamin was built.
Yeah.
Benjamin was built in 1907.
Mm-hmm. You taught there at the beginning, and then you didn't teach for a few years, but you came back to Benjamin.
Yes.
Because I've been reading that book, Homesteads and Happiness. It's very good. I'll bring it over and let you see it.
Yeah.
It's Burrell's book.
Yeah.
But there's a very well-written account by Selma Kingsip Palo. She's dead now, but it's really very nicely done. She tells about her father, Henry Kingsip, and she talks about all the teachers who taught in the Estonian school.
Yes.
Oh, there's
Yes, I remember Selma.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember her sister's name?
What's that?
Do you remember her sister's name? The one we went to visit when Mother was alive. We went to visit a lady on Mitchner Hill, and I'm sure she was a Kingsip. She taught at the Benjamin School once. She taught...
Oh, Selma Kingsip.
Not Selma, no. Selma was Mrs. Palo.
Yes.
But this lady's name is Mrs. Strable. Mrs. Neil Strable.
Yes, I forget her.
Was it Olga or Olga? No.
Oh, yeah.
Oya?
Yes, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
How would you spell Oya?
O-I-O.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll think of some more questions and I'll come again another day.
I have 2 teacher's certificates at home. And one was from Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
I wondered, when did you start teaching?
Let's see now. I started teaching in Nova Scotia.
How old were you then?
Pardon?
How old were you when you first started?
Well, I wasn't. I started the 1st of September, and I wasn't 18 until Christmas.
Oh, yes, that would mean you were just 17
Yes,
in your first school.
yes, yeah.
When did you go to Prince Edward Island? Would that be the following year?
No, I thought I would remember that, but I don't know.
Perhaps I could look at the certificates and find the date from them.
Pardon?
Perhaps I could look at your certificates and get the date from them.
Probably good, yes. Yes.
Do you remember telling us about the harvest excursions coming west
Yeah.
on the railway?
I don't remember the years. No.
Did the railway offer special fares for harvest workers to come west?
There was $10 to go to the west. Yes, but if you worked 30 days for a farmer, you could get back for $18. Otherwise, you would have to pay the regular fare to get back to. I went out. Yes. Let's see. Yes, I was out teen. I was out in August, the last of August, the year. I don't know. I don't know what was quite yet. But
Do you remember how old you were when you made your first trip west?
yes, I was 18. I would be. No. No.
Did you go back to Nova Scotia then?
Yes. Yes, I went back and went to the high school at grade 12 in Truro. Yeah.
What year did you go out to the West Coast?
I don't know. I worked in the mountain district of BC, southeastern BC for, I think, 2 years before I ever went to the coast.
When you homesteaded in Alberta, did you help form the Blind Man Valley Cattlemen's Association?
No. No, I never heard of that.
Did the homesteaders have an organization to help them so they could help each other?
What was that again?
Did the homesteaders have an organization to help each other?
When I went to Homestead, didn't have any homesteaders organization then. 1905.
You formed one later, didn't you?
I don't remember. No, I don't remember anything about that.
That's a long time ago.
Eh?
It's a long time ago.
Oh, yes, it's a long time.
Did you ever work on the Arrow Lakes?
Works on the what?
The Arrow Lakes in BC.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, on the Arrow Lake, I worked in the woods along the Arrow Lake and near the cusp. Yeah.
Did you know Rand Steves when you were out there?
What's the name?
Steves?
Steve. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I always remembered him sitting and talking to you and telling stories by the hour.
Yes. Yeah.
I always thought that you probably had better stories of your own that you could tell.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Steve was a great talker, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the school at Faraway?
The school.
At Faraway?
Well, far away. Oh, far away. Oh, yes. Yes, way out there. Yes, I remember I was out there 3 or 4 years. Taught in the school, to the log school. There wasn't many children there.
Did you build the little teacherage they had at Faraway?
Yes, we built a little teacherage in Faraway. Yeah. That's a frame building. Like 3 rooms, 2 bedrooms, and the coming room at the front.
When did you get the goats that you had there?
The goats?
Yes. I remember one that would race around the house jump up on the wood box and rattle his horns against the glass on the window.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I forget now where we got those goats. Yes.
Was it 1944 when you went out to Souk?
$1945, 1945. It was about that time, I guess.
What time of the year did you move out? In the summer?
What is that?
What time of year did you move out to the coast? Was it in the summer?
First went to the coast. I don't remember.
Do you remember the schools you taught out there? You were at the Souk school for a short time, weren't you?
Souk?
Yes.
Souk. Yes.
And then the Shirley school? Shirley?
Shirley. Oh, yes. The Shirley school was out near the lighthouse. Yes.
What was it like?
Yeah, oh, it's just a small school. Yes. Oh, it's about the smallest school I've ever taught in. Yeah.
What were the pupils like?
What are they like?
Yes.
Oh, they were very nice children. Yes.
I think you went back to Alberta in 1946, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was that the Rose School?
What school?
Rose?
I don't remember that school. Oh, what's that? Delors?
I thought the name was Rose.
No.
Do you remember the school east of Rimby?
That school, what school was that?
I can't remember the name. I was up in the Queen Charlotte Islands,
Yes.
and I came out for a visit.
Oh, yes.
And it was springtime on the coast, and it was still winter in Alberta. That was when you bought the little Hillman car.
No, I don't remember that. What car was that?
It was a little English Hillman.
No, I don't remember that car at all.
Oh, you put over 100,000 miles on that car.
Yes, I suppose so. No. No.
Do you remember Nova Scotia when you were a boy? The high tides on the Bay of Fundy?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have any special games you played there?
Settle what?
Games?
Dance.
Games.
Oh, the games.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, no, I don't remember any special games.
You told me a story one time about some mudslides when the tide went out.
Can't remember that.
There's a lot of things happen over the years.
Oh, my, yes. Oh, yes.
When was the UFA formed in Alberta? The United Farmers.
United Farmers. United Farmers. Yeah.
You had a lot to do with that.
That's what I had, yes. United Farmers. I was secretary of the local club. Yeah.
When did they start?
When did what start?
The United Farmers.
United Farmers.
I remember they went out in 1936 when the social credit came in.
Yes.
I wondered how long that they'd been around before that.
Oh, yes. 21 years, I guess. Yeah, this is probably was the premier.
And the last one was Brownlee, wasn't it?
What was that?
The last premier was Brownlee, I think.
Don't you remember that name? No.
Do you remember the old homestead?
Oh, yes. The year I homesteaded was 1905. Yeah.
How many homesteaded at that time?
Yeah, yes.
Frank Wingate?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Frank Wingate. There was 5 or 6 of us went from BC and homesteaded near one another. Frank Wingate was one. Wallace Stevenson was another. Marner Smith was another. Jim Fraser was another. George Fraser was another.
What was the first winter like?
Well, when they homesteaded,
Yes.
oh, it was a very pleasant winter. There was very little snow. We tried to get logs out for a log house, and then there was a sawmill came in, and we saw those. We had the 24-foot logs, and we saw them in two. Got 12-foot boards in the frame house.
What was the road like into Bentley?
Where? The road?
Yes.
Oh, it was very, very pleasant in September. Fine, dry.
Was that the trail that ran out to Medicine Lake?
Yes, I guess I did go to Medicine Lake that way.
I still remember the Indians
Yes,
coming down the trail,
yeah,
and we'd have to go out and let them through the fence.
yeah.
They didn't like the new roads.
Yeah.
Did you do any fur trapping in the early days?
Oh, yes. We trapped. We had a lot of traps out there in the early homestead days. Yeah.
Were there any beaver in the country when you homesteaded?
No. They had all been cleaned up by the Indians before.
When did they start coming back again?
Oh, I don't remember the year they started to come back.
I remember in 1939 there were some at Leedale,
Yes.
and then they were trapped out again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, perhaps we'll leave this for another time then.
Yes.